Welcome to the Golf Fitness Bomb Squad podcast with Chris Finn, a production of P4S Golf. What's up, Golf Fitness Bomb Squad listeners? This is your host, Chris Finn, and I'm excited today to chat about a quick fix for your elbow pain. So we're getting into the season. Actually was just playing in a tournament the other day, and a guy on the second hole, he started cussing. He's like, damn, my elbow's starting to flare up again. I guess he had gotten a shot a couple of weeks ago, and he had basically been hopeful that it was going to hold up. And, early spring golf, you're hitting off mats, and the ground wasn't the softest, to say the least. And his elbow flared up. And so it got me thinking of, he was absolutely no idea, absolutely clueless on what the hell to do for his elbow. Actually, he was saying it was his elbow into his wrist. So he was complaining of the basically the thumb side of his wrist and the outside of his elbow. So if you have your palm, your arm extended out in front of you with your palm up to the ceiling, the elbow on the side of the thumb side, right? So the outside of the elbow. And so it was, I always have to kind of bite my tongue in those situations, particularly in a tournament, trying to focus on my own golf game, which is hard enough. But it got me thinking that, this hopefully helps anyone who's had this pop up, because this is the time of year we'll see this a lot of the times. Get to the end of the winter, people are out starting to bang balls and they're still on mats. The increased vibration that comes up through the wrist and the elbow and the shoulder tends to wreak havoc. So a couple things. Great resource to go to is, and I don't get paid for this, I should work on some sort of affiliate link, but triggerpoints.net. So it definitely will make sure we'll put that in the show notes for you. But triggerpoints.net, you can actually, it's like interactive website where you can pick the spot that on your body that hurts, and it actually will give you the ideas of basically where trigger points could be in your body that could be referring to that area of pain. So for instance, for the wrist pain that he was feeling, he didn't hit a root or anything. It wasn't like an impact injury. It was something that was repetitive. The most common referral down to that area of his wrist is either generally coming either from a long thumb flexor or abductor muscle, or a lot of times it comes from his shoulder, the subscap muscle can refer down to that area as well, or it can actually come from a forearm muscle as well. So there's a couple different areas where it could come from, but it's not the wrist that's the actual problem. It's being referred from somewhere else. And so, basically, for those of you who don't know what a trigger point is, think of it as tissue, healthy pieces of tissue are like spaghetti all parallel on a plate, right? And then if you take your fork, my wife's Italian, so we have lots of spaghetti, right? And we put put the fork in the spaghetti, and then you twirl it. That spaghetti, which may have, stretched out, maybe was 4 inches long. When you twirl it, it's still one piece, but maybe now from end to end, it's only, 2 inches, long on your plate. The fiber didn't actually get shorter. It just got twisted and bound up. And when that happens, there's going to be tension on the attachment points of that tissue above and below, right? Where that trigger point or where that twirl is. And so a lot of times what happens is, let's say there's a twirl in the muscles in the forearm, you'll feel it either in your elbow or in your wrist. Right? It's not an actual elbow or joint problem, elbow or wrist joint problem. It's the tissue, the soft tissue. And the same thing, a lot of times it gets referred down, from the shoulder. So elbow and wrist issues, the first place we always look, unless if there has not been blunt, like you didn't hit a root or a rock, or you're not worried about fracture. First place I'm always looking is going to be up in the shoulder and in the neck, and see if there's something there that's potentially referring down to it. But the quickest fix that I can give everybody listening, just go to triggerpoints.net, and that you can kind of literally click on. This is a two-part tip here. Number one, go there, right? And it's interactive. It'll tell you exactly kind of the options of the muscles that potentially are involved. And then you can go to Par for Success, P4S Golf, and go to our YouTube page and type in whatever muscle you find, and we probably have a release there for you, so that you can figure out, how to release or find the spot that's where the trigger point is, where that spaghetti is twirled up, that's causing that pain where you actually feel it. But literally 99% of the places where people have pain in their muscles or their joints is being referred from somewhere else. And so just by even having that website, you literally are probably smarter than, I would say, this might get me in trouble, probably smarter than 50% of orthopedic physical therapists, chiros, in terms of being able to identify the source of the problem. And then obviously it's just a matter of figuring out how to get it fixed. And that's obviously, we can help you at any point. Just give us a call. We'll help kind of give you some guidance on that. But obviously the free resource of the YouTube channel is a great place to go as well, to see if you can kind of DIY it yourself. But so the next time you're out playing, you feel something pop up in the wrist or in the elbow, please have your thought not be that, hey, I have an elbow issue or my wrist is screwed up. Like, think to yourself, where could this be coming from? Where does, you can feel in your forearm, you can feel up in your shoulder, right? You find a spot that makes you jump or that reproduces that pain, right? Particularly if you, let's say you pinch your forearm muscles like up by your elbow and it reproduces the exact wrist pain you're having, that's the trigger point. If you just hold that, you let it twitch out. If you can get rid of that, all of a sudden the wrist pain will feel better, right? And that's what's called, soft tissue work, or then you start getting into the nuances and the specifics of the actual skill of treating the tissue, which I can't make you better than 50% of people, but in doing that, but identifying where it comes from, just those two resources, you probably figure out most of your stuff that goes on in the season. Particularly, obviously this is the elbow and wrist issue that kind of stuck out to me and made me think, like, wow, this is probably something people have no freaking idea about, that it would be super helpful and easy for them to implement themselves. So anyway, quick hitter today. I hope that helps somebody out there. Maybe it's not your elbow, your wrist. Maybe it was in your back. Check out, we have other episodes earlier in the pod talking about how to identify your back pain, if it's just on one side or if it's in the center. Definitely go check those out. Because that's the goal here is to keep you playing golf, avoid you from exploding. And, if you are, most of us are ticking time bombs. So if you are ticking, if you start to feel it about to explode, which is what I just explained, this guy was pissed about on the course. Hopefully these give you the tools to diffuse it and actually fix it so you can have longevity in this game. So appreciate you hanging out with me as always here on the Golf Fitness Bomb Squad, and I'll look forward to catching you on the next episode.